Now I see it.
Ding. Okay. All right, cool. No, I've only started using Zoom too. It didn't even occur to me that, oh, why don't I just go ahead and register one of these things instead of keep using your company account. So, okay, Jim, we have a ton of stuff to go over. I'm going to try my best to keep this in under an hour, okay? But it might run over. So today is May 22nd. It is 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast. Okay. So first, let me talk to you about the counselor kickoff meeting. Then we're going to talk about the LA reunion. Okay. And then we're going to go over some technical stuff that we just need to deal with. And then some, technical stuff. And then at the end, we'll just briefly go over the challenges that we've had in the last 2 days, but only for the purpose of what needs to be documented, not to go into any of the details. Okay, so let's just start with the counselor's outreach. Okay. So I don't know how much you've studied on Birthright Israel and how they're structured, but they actually have two independent entities that help to run the whole thing. One, Birthright Israel, is based in Israel, and they actually run the Love Boat program. I'm just going to use the analogy, okay? Whereas the entity in New York is called Birthright Foundation. So they're two different leadership. I think it's two different funding. I'm not even sure how they're funded, but the one in New York does a lot of the promotions, marketing, outreach, events, just like LBAI. Imagine that Birthright Foundation in New York is LBAI in the Bay Area, and then Birthright Israel is OCAC in Taipei running the program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so this is something you and I haven't discussed yet because, of course, all this other stuff is going on, and we just, there's just no time. But I don't see a path for LBAI. I mean, obviously, there are many possible ways to launch the Love Boat 2.0. It's a freaking summer camp. There are millions of summer camps around the world. It's not hard to run. It just takes effort and commitment. But I don't see, at least not right now, because we're so young. I mean, we're just still trying to get ourselves organized. The last thing we can even think about doing is running a program in Taipei, because most of us are here, just like OCAC. All their activities are overseas, and they don't have facilities in Taipei, for activities. So, of course, this all will play out as it will. Who knows how it's going to happen? And this year, our only goal is to extract information, document what the counselors know, and have a better understanding of what it would look like if Love Boat 2.0 did launch, right? Because that takes to the end of the year. But from learning from Birthright Israel, I think I'm just imagining that whoever runs the program is going to be based in Taipei. Obviously, that is so obvious, right? And it would be a logistical nightmare for, even if LBAI was, say, like 10 full-time staff, fully funded, we operate as a full-on nonprofit, 501c3, to try to manage the Love Boat program in Taipei from here is insanity, right? That just doesn't make any sense. So we will, of course, talk to the former counselors and just get a better understanding of what it is they did and what could use improvement. But I think there needs to be like a second entity in Taipei to run the actual camp. We can even call it the camp company, just like all the camps we sign up our kids for in Taiwan. They're all mostly run by, most of them are run by private enterprise people, but some of them are run by OCAC has some camps, and the schools, Taida and whatnot, they have camps too, right? So it could be anybody who ends up running the camp, but I don't see it being LBAI. Do you? Because to me, LBAI, we have our three distinct, clear objectives, our initiatives, right? Is to get ourselves organized, to find all the alumni, create a centralized database so we can all find each other, have reunions and events and meets and greets, and just communicate, just connect. That's ultimately our, our initiative number two is the research projects, which is also a big deal, and it's something that we can do from here. And then number three is just exploring the possibilities of, once you have the data, once we have enough data points, i.e. we've reached enough alumni, then we can take the appropriate polls and surveys, and Q&As in order to implement the research projects, right? Because you need to have minimum data for it to be valid. You can't just interview 10 people and say, well, this is what we decided the Love Boat program's impact is. You can't do that. So, and I'm not a researcher, so I haven't had, we'll have to find out from people who do this for a living, like how much data do you need for it to be valid? They may say, oh, you just need 5. They might say, well, you've had 46 years. You need at least 50% of attendance of every year, surveyed in order for it to be meaningful. I mean, they'll tell us. I'm sure there's some formula, but and then with the data, with the quantitative data, i.e. the studies, and the qualitative data, i.e. the podcasts and interviews that support the quantitative data, you can then use that to justify and say, hey, it's worth having. It makes sense to have the Love Boat program. It impacts people, individuals, Taiwan, economy, tourism, all of that. But it's only talk right now. We believe it is, but we don't have proof of it, right? So to me, LBAI, right now, we have our mission, right? Now, the only reason I bring this up, because when we talk to the main purpose of the counselors kickoff meeting on Sunday is to simply say that, hey, we're doing this. We would love to invite all of you to participate. If you're in Taiwan, come to the Taiwan event. If you're in the States, come to the States, the one in LA. But ultimately, we want to have these panel discussions to hear from you and, go from there. So just from the initial counselors that I've talked to, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of interest because they know so much, and it'd be such a waste. It'd be such a waste if it wasn't appreciated. So, yeah. So that's basically what the kickoff meeting is all about. And let me see my notes real quick. Kickoff meeting.
I mean, this is it's tomorrow at 7 p.m. PST, right?
No,
and you just made
it's Sunday. It's Sunday.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Sunday, 2 days from now. Yeah.
Right. I mean, okay, so to your point, this isn't, my laptop is funky. It keeps turning the volume down on its own. It's obviously last minute. We needed to do this a month ago. As you know, there's been fires to put out. And so here we are. There's nothing we can do about it. We just have to say, sorry, we couldn't get to this any earlier. We've had some issues. But even if, say, well, right now, Vince, Philip, Ben, Ben for sure can make it. I mean, even if it's just those three, these are three key people. These are three key people. Ben, I don't even, like, between Ben and Vince, like, Ben is the one who wrote the Wikipedia page. He's the one who started this Facebook counselors Facebook group. Yeah. I mean, he does a lot. So he knows a lot of people.
Have you talked to him yet, or like no?
Not verbally, but we have been texting. Okay. We because it turns out, I just found this. Oh my God, Jim! I just found this out last week because I was reading my cousin Grace, my first cousin, who I'm close to her. She's a little younger than me. She's in DC Kids and everything. But she commented on one of my recent posts, and I just kind of followed her back on her. I was just reading up on what she was up to, and I fell upon an old birthday post by Ben. Ben's like, Grace, happy birthday. I'm like, Ben SB? So I'm like, how do you guys know each other? And Grace is like, oh, he was my counselor when I went on the low. Like, Grace, how did I not know that you went on the low? I mean, we don't live in the same state, but we're close enough that I should know that she went on the Love Boat. Her brother, my other cousin, probably did too. But anyway, so that's how they know each other. So I swear to God, just between Ben and Vince, just those two, getting them informed,
Hmm.
the rest they can handle on their own. But let's just say 5 to 10 people were able to join us at this last minute. Um,
Right.
it's just simply us explaining what we're doing and the panel discussions and what we hope to get out of it, and see who's interested in helping or coming, attending, being on the panel, that kind of thing. Now, as far as the July 4th logistics, this whole thing initially started with a conversation I'm having with Cindy Liu about, can we borrow OCAC's office to just have a meeting with the local counselors, just to talk to them, right? Just you and me sitting down in a room of maybe 5 counselors to just start that conversation, right? And it's sort of like snowballed into this whole, oh, well, let's go to Gentan. Yeah, okay, Gentan's available. Let's go check it out. Maybe we can have a big full on reunion. Given that, given that the Type A team is in transition right now, and they don't have a head organizer right now. We obviously can't have anything bigger than you and me in a meeting room with some former local organizers, right? Because that was the initial intent. That was the initial intent. So sometimes this just reminds me of like back in the days with Oriented. It was like, oh my God, let's go to this city and this city and this city, and let's just keep growing like crazy. And it was like, well, why are we doing this? What is the goal here? And I mean, it is exciting to have any kind of event at Gen 10 and for all of us to just meet there, even if we just met up in the lobby for an hour, right? So so I'm gonna just ask the counselors, like, is there any interest on your side to come and to meet with us, to join the panels, and if there's anyone in Taipei that would be interested in sort of being the co-chair of this, and if you want to do more, you know, so let's just leave that open for discussion. So what we know right now is that you and I are going to meet with whoever shows up. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to come, and then we can rent a small space, a small meeting room to start with. I mean, so the director there is already, he knows that we're planning this. You know, it's just a matter of we haven't figured out which room, which facilities to get, and I still don't know because I kept calling for a Zoom meeting to understand. I wanted to get input from Dean and Lynn about like, okay, so which one do you think is? You did see the videos of that private space that the director showed them in the basement. Did you see that?
I mean, I kind of remember like it wasn't, I mean, I saw the video, but yeah.
But yeah, so that would be a great space if we had a fully functioning team, reunion team there to lay it out, you know, to handle all the logistics. But since we don't have that right now, I don't want to take a bigger bite than we can chew. What's the saying?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I get like we're not at that level yet. This is like,
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
we're
I think
basically like, I mean, even getting the
even if we
Taipei team to like show up in one room is going to be hard, right? You're like don't expect a lot of people. Like it's going to be very like, you know, we don't have structure yet. So,
exactly. We actually don't have a Type A team. Like we have a
mhm.
team in SoCal. We know who's the head organizer, you. And by the way, Vince agreed. Vince is going to join you as your counterpart counselor, which is awesome.
Okay.
Um, Cindy and Shirley Wu Chan, their roles are clear. They're co-head organizers in the Bay Area, and they're on it. They're rolling with it. They've got their team of people, and they don't need me anymore. Like I'm not involved. But the Type A team just, I mean, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I take just as much responsibility because I haven't had the time to turn that way and look really carefully like what is happening there and who's in charge. And you know, it's just I think it was a combination of things that has led us to this position, and it's fine. It's normal. It's growing pains. We're all dispersed. nobody has time to meet all the time. I know that, I keep asking for meetings because it's way clearer if we can talk instead of text. But it's the nature of the game, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. But the key is that let's first talk to the counselors and see how. I'm sure there is going to be interest. How much interest, we'll find out. And if there's one or two people who are based in Taipei who say, yeah, I can help out with the logistics, I can go to Jintan, talk to the director, and figure out, and in which case I would just, as I did with Oriented, as long as they seem very competent, which I'm sure they are, it's like roll with it. Do what you can, whatever you can do would be great. If you can't do anything, we can still all meet and have a sit down meeting so we can understand. Like, I would like to know, I'm dying to know, like every time I'm on the phone with Vince, I keep stopping myself. I start asking him, like, okay, so what did you guys do? Blah, blah, blah. And he starts to explain. I'm like, okay, wait, this conversation is going to go forever. Let's wait until the panel discussion because I'd like to hear from everybody. Like, what was the application process like? How did the counselors get chosen?
Right.
How did you arrange? How did you, who paid for all that? Like there's so many questions to be had. So let's just talk to them and keep it open. And I think I trust that there's enough passion and interest behind all of this that something will happen. Maybe something will come out of it from that meeting with them that we may not even have anticipated. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So that's basically what that's all about. Let me see my notes to see if there's anything else. Counselors, purpose of the 2 meetings. Oops, my volume keeps turning off. Yeah. So, Jim, if you don't mind taking on the first half of that conversation, I'll take on the back half. I can just screenshot this to you, but if you can just handle the intros, tell everybody it'll be recorded. We'll do a group photo at the end for the YouTube video. Introductions, let everybody go around making intros, and just explain that we have two reunions coming up, and the panel discussions is going to be former overseas, and then I'll take over from there and I'll go into the details. Okay, but I will just take a picture of this and send it to you so you know what to cover.
Okay.
All right, it's pretty straightforward. Now, counselors, what I'm hoping is that they're going to be gung-ho. All you need is 1 or 2 people. You know that. All you need is just one person who's just like, I want to do this. And, we've had many conversations about the format, first the panel, then the reception, then dinner, blah, blah, blah. To simplify it, the ideal arrangement, and you tell me what I think. Tell me what you think. I think that after all the back and forth, to me, the easiest format is first a casual meet and greet somewhere at Jintan. It doesn't even matter where at this point. I still would like to do it at that exhibit, and I still want to I will talk to Solomon. I was trying to get industry connection there, and I just haven't had time to call my uncle. But if I could convince him to just change his exhibit a little bit to focus on Jintan, because he changes the exhibit from time to time to focus on different things. He may not be able to. Maybe he's committed to this particular theme, and it's been advertised already and whatnot. But I just want to see what's possible, because I don't know if you read in the WhatsApp thread, but I'm going to write an open letter and ask that it be submitted as on the public record for that hearing, and I'm going to write it on behalf of myself, not on LBA, because I can't speak for LBA on this. But basically, right. I want to say the premise of my open letter is to say, I am the co-founder of this. I'm the founder of Oriented. I was the chair of the Chinese American professionals in Taiwan, and I worked for the U.S. Taiwan Business Council in D.C. under David Locks, who is a former ambassador to Taiwan. I have something to say about this, and that is that before you decide to demolish this facility, do not make the same mistake as OCAC in terminating a 46-year program that was extremely valuable to many people and to Taiwan itself without evaluating its impact. I can't. Nobody can stop if they all decide that Gentan is going to be demolished and turned into a commercial development or public park or whatever. There's only so much we can do. But I want to remind them that it behooves them to first properly evaluate using an unbiased party, evaluation team, and understand its cultural impact, its historical impact, its society impact, its impact to the overseas community, its impact to the local community. Understand what it means, because, and I'm going to say this in the open letter too, I'm going to be like, you want to demolish it. I would suggest you turn it into a historic site. You know what a historic site is. Once it's deemed, I think it's a legal term or some sort of real estate term, but once a building or museum or mansion or whatever is deemed a historic site, like the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, whatever, then no one will ever have the right to destroy it. In fact, many times the rules are very strict about you can't even renovate it, except for safety. You have to make sure that it's sound, it's foundationally sound. And I take the opposite argument to the people who want it to be demolished. I believe it's just the opposite, that it should be made a historic site. And I want my comments to go on the public record, added to that public hearing or to the next one, because I'm sure they're going to have more. But I don't want to speak on behalf of LBAI, but if, I'll probably do it on some kind of like those platforms that let you make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, you're making a lot of assumptions. I think just because I don't know how these things play out in Taiwan, right? Like you're basically, I think you're coming up with a U.S. bias, like U.S. court. This is the way it's public hearing. I don't know if it's even that.
Oh no. What I'm saying is, all I'm saying, Jim, is that I'm just going to write an open letter.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just going to push it around. And I'm going to send it to the press. I mean, everybody sends people to the press all the time. The press may not pick it up ever, but sometimes they do. It depends on if they find it interesting. And so that's it, And so I want to talk to Solomon. First of all, I just want to meet him. He sounds like an awesome guy. I think what he's doing is amazing. I think that he's whatever his political affiliation is, But anyway, so yeah, you're right.
I didn't get that. Like, who's this Solomon? And he's got an art exhibit, and what's. I don't know what's going on. I just kind of glance. I think this pissed off Leland somehow or something. I don't know.
Hold on. Let's not say names here, but okay. So let's you and I talk about that offline because it's not relevant to what other people are listening to. Okay. But I will explain that to you. I'll explain to you as best I can because I'm not really sure what happened either. But so anyway, so do you have any other? Oh yeah, what I wanted to tell you. Just let me wrap up with the counselors' kickoff meeting. So
yeah, I mean we'll see who shows up. I'll basically up to that. That's fine.
The Deputy Minister Elaine Lee has confirmed her attendance. Lisa Mao's dad might be coming to both events.
Okay.
Because remember, I met with her, and she cannot bring him. She cannot accompany him to Taipei because she's already got her own family commitments for that weekend. But her sister Sandy went on the Love Boat, and Sandy might be able to bring him out. So that's already 2 huge VIPs. And then Alexandra and her mom, Shirley Wu Chan, we're all looking at ways to get them out there. So we'll see what happens. But I'm just letting you know that there's some people that are already coming.
That's great.
That's the thing is that people ask us, well, how many people do you think would come? Well, we don't have the database. It's an OCAC and COIC's freaking basement or something. So we can only promote, tell people, go through word of mouth, and hope for the best. To me, if say 10 people showed up, we still have the mechanism of press releases. So Jim, I don't know, I know you have a lot of experience in marketing, social media marketing, community outreach. Did you ever get involved in press management?
I mean, very loosely, but I didn't do a lot of PR.
Okay. Well, so let me just I used to be the only full-time employee of something called Free, hepatitis B free. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah, you told me.
yeah, okay. But I had the privilege of learning from one of the probably the best PR guru in the Asian American space in Chinatown, San Francisco. His name is Ted Fang. You know the Fang family. You know Florence Fang. Anyway, they're notorious. They're notorious in the Chinatown area. You know the Flintstone House in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
It's that family. But anyway, so what Ted would do, he got all the politicians involved. He was pretty brutal, and he would have these press releases. He would have these like press conferences standing in front of City Hall in San Francisco, and we're all there. And one day it was raining, and it's like 2 people showed up, 5 people showed up to listen. And first of all, it's not an interesting topic unless it's personal to you. Who wants to go to a press conference about hepatitis B and liver cancer, right? Unless it's personal to you, or you're in the health field. But it didn't matter to him if anybody showed up, because he was able to write a press release about it and communicate in that press release what he wanted out there about what they were doing, about their efforts, about who was involved, about what they accomplished, what their goals were. And it got picked up in the press. I was like, dude, this guy's a master at this. And I got to work for him for 2 years. I was his direct report, along with my friend Janet. She's like the other person was in charge was a woman named Janet, who is now a good friend of mine, and she's the one who told me about Birthright Israel. So there's a lot of intricate ties there, but that is the point. That is the one thing that we can do to help us find more alumni. Is every time a media outlet will pick up the story, that hopefully more alumni will hear about us. Because again, we have no other way to find them unless we pay for a big advertising campaign, right? So we have to go through non-financial outreach mechanisms to try to get the word out there, in order to have enough data points, in order to do the research projects, in order to prove that the Love Boat program was meaningful, valuable, and had impact. So I think that's it. Let's move on. Unless you have any other questions about the counselors meeting. All right. So that's what that's about. Then, okay, LA reunion. If it's okay with you, are you good with the, the infographic, the draft infographic that John Folk did for us, that outlined, all the way to the end, where you have afternoon performances and closing ceremonies, and then goodbye.
Yeah, it's fine. It's done.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So let's just stick with that. Okay. Let's just stick with that, because I may have, one of an 87 alum by the name of Kent Jew happens to be, I don't want to say names, but M's music director. And he is very well known in the performance space in the Bay Area. He's probably one of the most well-renowned. He runs the most professional nonprofit organization. They have staff. They have like 5 to 10 full-time staff, tons of parent volunteers. It's a boys' course, and it's just amazing to see something organized so professionally like that. So anyway, we've been with that program for 4 years for now, and I see him. I know him. We've met. We're on good terms. We've had meetings together. And it was only recently that I found out he was Love Boat alum. So the entire time I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, planning the 2024 reunion, I would see Kent like every other week during rehearsals, not knowing that he was alumni, right? So as it turns out, there are multiple families whose kids are in the program that are Love Boat alumni. And so I'm going to talk to him about putting together a special performance of him directing, because that's his thing. That's what he does. And our next generation performing, professional level performance, at the closing ceremonies as an option. Obviously, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just letting you know that as long as we can stick with what we know in the infographic, we can go with that. Okay, so funding options. This I want to talk to you about. You tell me if there's a different way to look at this, but I was like researching how we can pay for everything that we want to do. And it just makes sense to me to say that with every bell and whistle that we want to have, there's really three ways to fund it. And actually, this is how it happens. Either you pay out of pocket.
Mhm.
Let's say you want a photo booth at the LA reunion. Okay. You guys can just decide, you know what? It's $1,000. Let's all chip in and just pay for it. So you can choose to pay for it because that's what we did at the 2024 reunion. I paid a lot out of pocket.
Mhm.
Or you get the vendor you negotiate with the vendor and say, hey, let us use your photo booth for free and we'll promote you. And whoo, sorry, that's thunder, lightning. Um,
Okay.
you give this product or service to us in kind, and in return, we will promote you in our newsletters, websites, podcast. You cut a deal with them, just like you do with at Oriented with the bars and all. And the third option is you get a sponsor for the photo booth. So let's say the photo booth costs $800 for 2 hours to rent. Find a local sponsor, an alumni that has a company or is a dentist or a doctor. They're always sponsoring like kids' sports activities and whatnot. So those are the three options that everything you want to do, like the bus that we want to rent, that to want to charter down south. Either we all pay for it out of pocket, like we split costs and pay our tickets, like normal people taking a bus, or we negotiate with the bus company and say, hey, maybe it's a local mom and pop van company, and say, hey, you give us this for free, and we'll promote you we'll add you to the press release that goes to the news, whatever.
Mhm.
Or you get a sponsor for the bus. I could go to
Yeah.
OCAC and say, why don't you sponsor this bus? Because that's what you guys used to do for us at the Love Boat anyway. And that just gives every team flexibility on what they want to do and how they want to pay for it. Because if it were up, if traditionally, if central LBAI headquarters ran all the money, held all the money, and had to pay for every local team's activities, but every local team has different activities. They might not want to do the same kind of things. It can get to be an administrative nightmare. And in fact, I think that's how OCAC is structured because, what I was told is that it can be competitive. You know, Maybe the Bay Area wants to have a special conference event. They have to apply to headquarters to get the budget to run it. But if LA wants to do something different and cost money, headquarters has to decide who am I going to give the money to because they have limited money. So sometimes it gets competitive with an OCAC. And the same thing would happen at LBAI if we were structured traditionally like that. So to have these funding options, pay for it yourself, negotiate for in-kind trade, or get a sponsor for it, I think is just, what do you think about that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, at this stage, just figure out how to, you know, and you just give them guidelines, right? So like
Exactly.
these, yeah, this is it. Like we're not going to get involved, right? So it's just
Exactly.
you can't get involved.
Exactly. We're not going to
You
get
don't.
involved.
I mean, you
So,
don't
like,
have the resources. So
well, even if we had the resources, we don't want to end up with the same problem, the inherent problem that, OCAC faces with having limited budget and having to say yes and no to one team over another. Let each team
mhm.
basically, let's say the Bay Area team was very enthusiastic. They want to have We're having our May 31st meet and greets coming up. Let's say they wanted to have a photo booth, they wanted to have I don't know, like special cake or special food that's distributed, or we want to rent a boat. It's on the water. They run boats in the back. We wanted to charter
Mhm.
a boat to take people out in the water. Well, then now they have to figure out how to pay for it. They just can't come back, even if headquarters was flush with money. They can't come to us and say, "Hey, can you pay for it?" We would say to them, "Well, you figure it out how to pay for it. You can either charge people tickets to get on the boat, which is fair. If you go on any boat, you have to pay to rent it, right? You pay for the ticket, or you negotiate with the boat company in-kind trade services, or you get a sponsor for it. I think that's actually a really healthy way for us to operate that allows for maximum flexibility for because some teams don't want to do anything. So let's say
Right.
we give $2,000 to this one team to do something. You give $2,000 to the let's say everybody gets $2,000, and the teams that don't want to do so much, they'd be like sitting on $2,000 and just having big dinners. I think having it this way makes a lot of sense. So just wanted to run that by you, because before I go and make that more of a policy thing, I just wanted to see if you thought there was any flaws to it, if there are any problems with it.
No, I mean,
Okay.
we're so early. You don't even have to think about infrastructure right now.
No, they're trying to do stuff at the May 31st meeting, meet
Yeah.
and greet, so which is fine. I like that. I like the enthusiasm. So,
Mhm.
Jim, I think you're falling. I can only see your nose.
Okay. No,
Okay.
see.
So,
Okay.
funding, we got the funding down. So, photo booth, bus, banner, meeting room rental, dinners, it's all the same thing. John, of course, is helping me with sponsorship packages.
Mhm.
Jim, these two events, the reunion in Taipei and the reunion in LA, this is our opportunity to make some money in order to get us registered and move forward. And so I am putting a lot of, I'm making it a priority to work with John to put together appropriate sponsorship packages and hope that we can. I trust that we will. I believe that we will. I think there's a lot of people who want to support us. So, okay. So I'm on the topic of funding and money. So Lisa, as it turns out, the reason why she didn't want to record that meeting was because um, um, basically it's still a question mark on her end. She spoke too soon, which is fine. She's still talking to her
Mhm.
dad about the resources, and the challenge is that they just went to a funeral last week. You know what's going on. And so this is not a good time for her to be talking to her dad about all this stuff. So that's just going to be put on hold. And that's fine.
Mhm.
We don't want to put that on her. But she was just like, so sorry. I'm really sorry. Don't be disappointed. I spoke too soon. She just was basing it off of past conversations that she had with her dad. But that's fine. I told her I gave her some wish lists, if they could cover some key expenses that I can imagine that's coming up for the July 4th event, that would be
Mhm.
great. And so she's going to take it back to her dad, but she can't make any she can't talk to him about this right now, which is completely understandable. But she did say that his attendance is a real possibility. I'm like, but he's 93 years old. I mean, how going to Taipei is like, isn't that going to be? She's like, he's still driving by himself. He's typically living by himself, but ever since the funeral, he's been staying with Lisa, and he needs them. But she's like, no, he's got friends everywhere. He'd love to go and see his friends in Taipei. I'm like, okay, all right, great. I was like, I just said, look, you can tell me at the very last minute whether or not he can make it. If he can make it, we will give him the microphone. People will be so psyched to hear from him, you know? So she was
Mhm.
telling me that he was working for the Ministry of Education at the time in 1967, would have been the year, at a time when the government was still, how did she put it? Here, she said, um, it was still, when they started the Love Boat program, it was still the officially recognized government of the Republic of China. So he
Mhm.
was working for the Chinese embassy. Do you understand,
Oh,
Jim?
okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, so I said um, that's it for the LA reunion. Done. Jim, meeting logistics. Okay, so if you're hosting a meeting, and so now I'm going over some meeting logistics. So just so that we have it clear, I want to make sure that we're both on the same page. Okay, so the two of us now have accounts to Zoom. So if you're running the meeting, I will show the screen, to support that, and vice versa. If I'm running the meeting, you show the stuff on the screen, right? Um, Introductions is always name, role, CT, Shintan year, and location. We talked about that last time, right? I want to get through introductions quickly. The first time
Mhm.
we tried to do that, the introductions went way too long. I'm like, well, we want to get to know people, but right now we're having a meeting, so I just want everybody to just
I
keep
mean,
it
I think it
short.
depends on how many people show up. Just like you
That's
can't
true
do
too.
introductions like with
That's true
every
too.
single meet. I
That's
mean,
true too.
honestly, like people who are attending it, you don't really need them. I mean, just like it should be the speakers who are kind of introducing.
That's true. You're
Like,
right. It depends on how many people. You're right. So if
I
a
mean,
lot of
if
people
it's
end up showing up to the counselors kickoff meeting, then obviously it's too much time to go through that. You're right. So we'll wing it, okay? And then one thing that we didn't do, and remind me if we've talked about this already, is that we should always follow up with any newcomers that come to our meetings. So at the SoCal meeting, there was a woman named Alice. I think her name was Alice. Did you know her? Alice Wong. I think she was a counselor, but because we didn't finish our round of intros and then, we never really got a chance to talk to her. She's
yeah, I don't
now,
remember.
yeah, she was a beautiful woman. She's in the recording. She said hello. But anyway, my point is
Oh,
that,
okay. The online one, yeah, okay.
yeah. My point is that we should build it into our processes and procedures that anybody who's new that joins the meeting, unless it's 1,000 people, if it's a small meeting like that, we have to make sure to follow up with that person, and just even a conversation is just helpful because, as I said before somewhere else, I'm like, if some oh I was telling this to the Bay Area team, I'm like, someone shows up to the meeting, that means they're interested. That means they want to get involved somehow. Maybe they won't know immediately what area they're interested in, but they've come. They've come to meet us. They've come to sit through the meeting. And so let's take that opportunity to not recruit, but this just don't let that opportunity fall by the wayside that someone has showed up. Anyone who shows up to me is a big deal. So let's just remember to do that. If that's a situation where I regret not following up with her, and I think there was a couple of others that okay, I had a very interesting feedback from Lynn about these recorded meetings. Obviously people understand the value of it and no one's saying not to do it, but he said that for people like him, he would rather read a summary and just glance over it to see if there's anything in particular that he wants to follow up on. So his point was we should have not just the recorded meetings, but transcripts and summaries. Transcripts are already automatically done by YouTube, so we don't have to worry about that. But can you, how do you do the summaries? Is that an AI thing? How do you do a
Yeah, it does it
summary?
auto. I mean, this will do it too. I mean, I'm sure like this on Zoom, it'll create like the transcripts and like it'll automatically summarize it.
Okay.
I think it's right here. Yeah, like request AI companion, meeting questions, meeting summary. Yeah, it's right here. If you
Is
see the
that
little
something you
star
have to, the star?
up, you see like on the top, if there's like a recording, there's a little pen, there's like a
Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
You
AI
see how when you like,
companion.
yeah, meeting summary. It's already doing it.
Oh, great. So what happens to it afterwards? Because I've had a couple of Zoom meetings. We can talk about the details of this later. I'm just saying that Lynn had a very good point. People learn differently, and it's good to have all three options for people to,
Yeah, I mean honestly, like nobody will sit and like watch a whole 1 hour meeting
right,
discussion.
right. Well, some people have, but that's
I
not the
mean,
point. The point is to
yeah,
share the pieces that need to be shared, having a documentation, all the things we talked about before. But yeah, no, yeah, right. Even we wouldn't go back and do it. Okay, so
yeah.
follow up with each meeting with 3 documentations. Done. Oh, professional conduct. Oh God, how do I talk about this? There's some technical questions that I have for you, but we don't have to do it at this meeting. We can do that by text. In fact, I think that's all really that is key to our talking today. The main thing is just to update you on the counselors kickoff meeting on Sunday. Okay. Um, as for what's been going on in the last 2 days, I had a talk. Thankfully, Mike was available, Mike Lee, and I told him the whole story. I told him everything that happened. I did a video recording of this. I used to take screenshots for documentation, but I found this feature on my phone that actually records whatever you're doing on the phone. Do you have that? Did you see the link that I sent you?
I mean, I have a recording, yeah, feature on the phone.
You can record your screen. So let's say
Yeah.
you're scrolling the screen up to read a conversation. It can record it
Hmm.
as a video. So
Yeah.
for documentation purposes, because it was such an extreme situation, I did that, put in the archives, and um, passing it to Mike. And Mike, of course, is a fantastic lawyer, as you know. He's amazing. And I talked to him about, because I needed to get input on what is the right thing to do here, and specifically with data, access to data. Given he didn't have, okay, so I don't want to go into too much detail about the whole conversation, but basically, this is an unusual situation. I mean, like he said, every volunteer organization hits this problem where you have data, people's database. You have to have it in order to contact people, right? But then who should have access to it? Because you don't want it going into the wrong hands or to be abused or stolen and or misused. And but in this case in particular, numerous people have already expressed their concerns about what's happening to their data. Numerous people have expressed concerns that this is an extremely, extremely valuable database and that they do not want, they're very uncomfortable with being a part of it because they don't know what's happening to the data. Fair enough. If you've got Elaine Chao and all these high level officials, VIP CEOs that are in a database, I mean, actually, how do you guys run it at FF? Who runs the database?
No, I don't ask.
Do you have
It's
do
probably
you guys have central
the,
do you have like a central team like oriented, had a central
I
headquarters
mean,
of it?
we have elected officers that are basically, yeah. So like, but they rotate like every year they change.
Oh, so the database is managed by whoever happens to be running the newsletters or whatever.
And we don't really, yeah, I guess we used to have a newsletter, but the guy quit. Um,
Okay. Anyway, I'm just curious if there was some model to look at. But in any case,
mhm.
I, as the sort of, I guess, the lead person in terms of the activities that are happening, I cannot share that. And I want to say this on record, that cannot be shared with anyone. Right now, Lynn, I've known him for 20 years or 25 years. He is very responsible. I trust him. He's doing administrative work. Whoever else had administrative privileges didn't necessarily do the administrative work that needs to be done, and Lynn's doing it, a lot of it. So I'm comfortable with him. And if he, as long as he wants that role, if he doesn't want to role, that's fine. I understand. Shirley Wu Chan is the only other person who has. Even you don't have administrative privileges because you don't have time to go in and deal with that. No, most people shouldn't have time to do this, but Shirley has it because the Bay Area team is trying to get themselves organized, and she needed administrative access in order to approve some of the promotions that they're doing for May 31st. Has nothing to do with the database or anything, but I've also, she has privileges, but actually I should probably look at that too and talk to her about that. And maybe I should probably, I don't remember why I needed to give her administrative privilege, but it had something to do with some technical hiccup that they were having trying to promote a flyer through the Facebook group. So you know what? I will talk to her about that. I think I need to also like have her not be administrator. I don't remember. I don't know if she still needs to be doing something with that, but surely.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, until we become more structured, until job descriptions are clear, like who's doing what's the responsibility, what's the ramifications. Uh, um, should it be full-time employees that have access? I mean, this needs to be defined. And I talked to Mike about getting involved with this on the, being the lawyer for here too, not just oriented, because I haven't asked him yet. And I've been waiting for the right time because we were too immature before. I mean, the organization was too new for him to start getting involved, but now we're at a time. It's time for us to look at everything and make sure it's structured correctly. You got to take it seriously. We're talking to the head of Gentan. We're talking to the vice minister of OCAC. We can't not take this as seriously as possible. And so Mike didn't say no. I was like, Mike, let me send you some materials. Think about it. I'm giving you first right of refusal. He was so funny because that's the language he used to use with me. And, it would be such a boon for him to come back and for him to come into LBAI and be our legal counsel. So hopefully he'll say yes to that. But he is brilliant. I don't remember if you worked directly with him, but this guy, he understands the nuance. He understands people's emotions because he deals with difficult clients a lot.
Yeah.
He deals with difficult situations. And so he's calm, collected, mature, thoughtful, very, we need representation like that. We need representation like that. So that's a yay. I hope he gets in. I hope he gets involved. Okay. So the only other thing that I will say to what's been going on the last 2 days is that, I talked about data. No one's going to get access to the data until we become clear, legally structured, that there's a policy, it makes sense. It's on me, because it's on me. I don't want somebody to sue me because somebody else got a hand on this database. So I'm protecting myself, and I don't care if somebody's going to get upset about that. Until they prove it, show me why they need access to the database, I'm not giving it to them. So, sorry, that was just, the only other thing that I will say is I do not condone behavior like what happened, language like that. That professional conduct is a whole section in the volunteer agreements that we had at Oriented. But at that time, I just thought it was just regular terms and conditions that you see in every contract. I never thought it actually had to be pulled out. I cannot imagine a world in which you or Stephen or EE or Lisa or Vince and all these people that we've known I cannot imagine them screaming at each other for any reason. I mean, if we're in our 50s and 60s, if you haven't figured out how to express your frustration, upset, disappointment in a way that's productive, helpful, and kind to the other person, especially if they're your friend to begin with, I'm sorry, you cannot be part of LBAI. That's not the culture. I don't care what happened. I don't care who did what. Especially what we're talking about. I mean, with the issues at hand, it's not like it's not justified, and I cannot have that in any of our locations. And Jim, if you ever hear anything like that going on,
take the E out.
What's that?
It's Trump. Anyways.
You're watching Trump videos while I'm talking.
No, I just turned on my phone because I had a message and popped up.
Okay.
Whatever.
So anyway, it's unacceptable. I
mean, I got that.
Imagine.
I was reading I was trying to catch up. If you guys you were up really late then.
Jim, I've been getting very little sleep. I've been getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep. And
that's
granted,
crazy.
It's because of these deadlines coming up. People getting, I don't want to record things that are just not helpful. All I'm going to say here is that kind of language is absolutely not acceptable at LBAI. We will not have that kind of culture here. We will have the kind of culture we had at Oriented, which was very respectful, very kind, very thoughtful, mature, and fun. We had fun. Because we never had to worry about somebody losing their mind like that. So done. That's all I need to say about that. The rest of it, you and I can talk about offline. so that you and I both understand what happened. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I
Okay.
also
I
want
mean,
to talk.
just debrief. It's like all this happened, like I guess in the last 2, 3 days too. So.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
But anyway, and I also want to say for the record that this is not my first rodeo with people who are just like who went off the sidelines, who went off the tracks.
Hmm.
I treat everybody, including my worst enemy, including boyfriends that have broken my heart. I still
Hmm.
treat them civilly, with civility and respect and kindness. I don't hold grudges, and I don't hold any grudges to anyone, in that whole situation. I really hope that we can maintain our friendship. I trust that we will. For those that are based in Taipei, when we're back over the summer, not you, but when I'm back in the summer, I do plan to reach out to them and say, hey, let's talk. I want to flush this
Right.
out. I want to make this work. I mean, not make it work, because I think what happened is good. I think everybody who needed to leave have left, and that we need a clean slate, and we need to start anew, and we need to do it right. In many ways, there's a lot of finger pointing, and I think there's a lot of reasons why things happened the way they did, and really there's no one person to blame, because I also have to take responsibility in that I didn't manage the Taipei team like I should have. Like SoCal, you guys are doing great. You know what you're doing. The
And we
Bay
haven't
Area
done
team,
anything
the Bay
really.
Area
So.
team, they're very organized, very, very organized. They've got Cindy, who's the counselor rep.
Mhm.
They've got Shirley Wu Chan, who's the alumni rep, and they've got their team of people, and they're on it. I mean, they're pushing me, and that's how it should be. Teams should be active, and they should be pushing me to help. Hey, send out this newsletter. Hey, post this for us on Facebook. Hey, do this. That's what I want. That's how it should be. That's how it was oriented, right? We're tech support now. We are infrastructure support. And
Hmm.
yeah, so what happened there is just, I also take responsibility. I don't have the time to do everything, and I have to prioritize. And right now, we've got some hard deadlines that we have to deal with. So I wish it didn't happen that way. That's not how I would have ever wanted the situation to be handled. But again, we're all in different places. Nobody has time to get on Zoom calls at the same time. Text is a terrible way to communicate, like you said. I'm going to wait till I'm back in town, and then I'll reach out to everyone one by one to talk to them individually and just say, listen, let's talk this out. I'm going to take ownership on my part. Hope that you would do the same. And I would never, ever want someone to not feel like they can come to an event or a reunion because of something like that. That's normal. What happened was normal in organizations. It happens at churches. It happens at any kind of structured organization. You're going to have that kind of situation. And that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you're enemies for life. If you want to be friends again, if you want to get to a better place, if both sides want to do it, it will happen. So I trust that it will be fine, but it's good for everybody to just go their separate ways, cool off, hopefully, encourage everybody to just come. So I think that's it. That's it. I'm looking forward to the call. I'm going to try to get some sleep, but you're right. I mean, the stuff like the open letter to the powers that be, I'm going to send it to City Hall. I'm going to send it to the Taipei City Government, Land Bureau, whatever. Everybody that I
Yeah.
can
I
think
mean,
of, because
just
if they
yeah.
don't.
I get it. I just hope they don't like just throw it away, right? It's just like.
The thing is, I've talked to some other alumni, that are in our Facebook group that I don't know personally, but we've been chatting. They're
Mhm.
like, one person was telling me that they were stunned to hear that this was even happening, and that they're so don't know yet how to react to it. I think there's
Mhm.
some. I think there's some. The first time I heard about it was a couple of years ago, and I remember how I felt. I was like, how could this happen? And I started trying to tell everybody. I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about demolishing the building. We should do something. We should say something. What should we do? Like, what can we do? And of course, I couldn't mobilize anyone to do anything, because you're powerless in a way unless you have a voice, unless you have a group and an organization and structured foundation to be able to properly respond to something like that. But Jim, this is where LBAI can really, really make a difference. Had we been more mature of an organization before this public hearing, we could have sent someone, or I could have gone there, I could have flown there, and I could have made a statement on behalf of however many people signed it's not a poll. You know that thing where people can make a statement and other people who support them can just sign their signatures?
Petition. Yeah.
Petition, yes, petition. LBAI. This is where we can make a big difference about something that we care deeply about. And not just because it's sentimental to us, but because it plays such an important role in history, Taiwan's history, culture, society. So it's regretful that we are not more organized to be able to do that. And I don't have time to follow the news. Like there's something happening all the time, but that situation's been going on for a long time, at least a decade, I think. The debate has just been going on forever. So anyway, sorry, I get a little frustrated when I talk about that because here we are at LBAI. We're 2 years in. We do have almost 600. Oh my God, Vince is just sending the freaking army to our Love Boat Facebook group. I'm like, he's sending them over and I'm approving. A couple of days ago, it was like 50 people came through. So it was like, I had just told the deputy minister that we had 556 people. But now if you look at how many people, it's like close to 600, which is amazing. You know, for our group, for our purposes, that's a lot. I would not be surprised if by the time July 4th rolled around, we'll have 1,000 people in our Facebook group, you know? So I just wish that I had more time and energy to focus on the Gentan building, which is another reason. Okay, so let's just make this officially over, this meeting officially over. And if anybody wants to go or they think they're listening or whatever, you and I keep talking. I don't mind recording this, but our meeting is officially over. And by the way, it is 11 o'clock. So the hour is over. The hour is over. So basically, Solomon, this is my understanding. I'll send you the chat link, the chat GBT link about his background, but his name is Solomon Song, and he's an architect, designer by trade. He's not a politician. And from what I've read, my mom was helping me to read up the Chinese articles about him too. He's he has exhibits, and Gentan is allowing him to have his exhibit there because part of what he's trying to preserve is the Gentan facilities. That's why he was at the public hearing. He supports. We're on the same side, and he doesn't want the young people to forget history, you know, and all these important moments in time, and all these representations of Taiwan culture and history. So he's more of my sense is that he's more of a historian as opposed to being a politician, but he is KMT. Okay. So, but everybody is either KMT or DPP. You know, I think part of the uproar was like, but he's the KMT and we have to be very politically sensitive. I'm like, well, the deputy minister of OCAC is very DPP. Did you read her bio? Should we tell her not to come? Because it might raise some eyebrows? This is the reality. The Love Boat was run by the KMT for decades before the DPP even existed. There was no opposition party. So yes, it's a KMT sponsored program, but there's nothing on the application form that says which party are you. And if you're DPP, you can't come. You know, and I know that you're freaking Taiwanese. You're in the program. Rainbow is in the program. We've got people who are non-Chinese. I mean, non-Taiwanese, non-DPP, non-KMT. We've got a lot of Cantonese speakers from Hong Kong. Have nothing to do with Taiwan. You know, they never made that distinction to say we're only allowing this program for KMT families. I swear there's just so much misunderstanding out there. Like my mom was telling me, and of course, I don't like to always quote my mom because she may not be right, and everybody has their own opinions. But she's like, you know, there's so many people complaining that, you know, when the nationalists took over Taiwan, 1949, and forced everybody to speak Mandarin, it was because they just didn't respect the local language. And you tell me, because I'm just telling you what she told me. She's like, the reason they had to get everybody to speak Mandarin is because all these people were fleeing China from different provinces, and they had to speak one language in order to manage the citizens. Oops, shit, losing power.
All right. I mean, I think that you should go to bed. Actually.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. We're just chatting.
Okay.
Key points have been said, so we're good.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jim.
All
Okay,
right,
so
get
do
some
you
sleep.
stop this recording or do I stop it?
I mean, when you turn off the meeting, it's going to be stopped.
Okay, so I'm going to
It'll
stop it right now. Okay, but Jim, hold on. Let me call you on my phone because I do want to just talk to you about the details of the last couple of days. It only should take 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
What's been going on that side? Okay, so
Okay.
I'm stopping it now. Good night.
Mhm. All right.
Okay.